Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do. This is the follow-up video to the PAI Capital announcement about the mudslinging between him and David Sullivan that's been going on over the last few weeks, or them I should say rather than him. This is their follow-up statement, and therefore this is my follow-up reaction video to it. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website. We can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see with the icon that's up here. £10 to £15 cheaper than the club shop, so why would you waste your money there? Click the link in the description below. There's also Admiral and Umbro claret and blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Anything purchased through the link in the description, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly onto Iron Supporting Food Banks, because at the end of the day, guys, these guys need money more than we do. You know, these are people that are relying on food banks within the Newham area, and this is the charity within the same Newham area that are helping those that are less fortunate than you and I. So go grab yourself a nice retro shirt, screw the club, don't buy it from them, save yourself 10-15 quid depending on what you're going to purchase, and you'll be going to help those that are less fortunate than we are. Now, this is my reaction to the updated statement that PAI Capital have put out. If you want to read the full statement itself, there is a link in the description for Knees Up Mother Brown's article on it, but I'm not going to go into the full details. I know that Gio and young Jake have already done their live broadcast about it, and fair enough. I've just made some notes about things that I want to hear back from you in terms of what your thoughts are, and I've just made some salient notes. One of those is PAI have agreed the core principles with the LLDC for full control of the London Stadium. So basically a deal in principle to have the football stadium. Now the thing about this is, obviously all of this is subjective at the minute, because they've got a gentleman's agreement, shall we say, with the LLDC in order to discuss what they want to do with the club moving forward should West Ham United be bought by them. They also talk about possibility of further discussions to contribute towards being able to enhance and maximise usage of the park for both the club and the wider East London community. This I really do like. It's a bit of PR spin on in a same regards, but it's just developing more on their point of the previous statement. As I said, it's just more of what we would like to hear. There's a lot of possibilities in here. There's no, we will do this, we will do that. They can't say that at this point, because obviously these are principal conversations, not only with the LLDC as the previous discussion was, but also with West Ham United as well, or more specifically David Sullivan. There is mudslinging in the statement as well. So don't take everything as read. This is the catch-22 of it. This isn't going to please everybody, because obviously at the moment they can't, for legal reasons, I'm guessing, in my opinion, they can't say the full statement of their intent for the club. They can only say what they've really agreed with the LLDC. And it makes sense. At the end of the day, guys, these guys are being open with us. Whether you like it or not, they're actually being open and transparent, for lack of a better business term, or any reasonable term for that matter. So, you know, it's good to see that they're giving us clear indication. If they win their offer and they buy the football club and they adhere to it, whole nother matter. You know, there's loads of other conversations, but this is purely about what's in the statement. But yes, to reinvigorate the East London community, I really like that. There's a lot of wasteland in the Olympic Stadium as well, for that matter. So there's a lot of things that can be done still. I know there's a lot of buildings going up still, but there's still a lot of potential in the site, which is what their main objective seems to be, to a degree, because you can't have one without the other, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view. PAI hope to be able to engage positively and openly with fans in due course. Now again, this can be interpreted in one of two ways. It will be the fact that it sounds like they are going to be releasing more information going forward. There's more consultations between the three parties, I should say, progress, the more information they will be legally allowed to provide, if any. So that's pretty much how I'm reading it. Let me know how you're taking that. But because obviously due course means when the time is right. So it could be a fact of like the Glaziers did when they first bought Manchester United, saying, you know, we want to have an open dialogue with the football community and the football fans for this club. 10, 12 years later, they did it. So, you know, there's a lot of ifs and buts. And again, with the previous statement, this asks more questions than it answers previous questions. So anyway, we'll go on to it. As things stand, divergent interests prevent the stadium from reaching its full potential. Limited arrangement as it stands between the club and the stadium owners. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. You know, we all know there's so much more this stadium can have for the club. We really, really do. We know we can get it to a very, very big capacity stadium. In terms, I mean, all right, 66 is what they're aiming for. If the rejig can happen as it should have happened in the first place, but from converting it into Olympic Stadium into the current all-purpose stadium that it currently is, more should have been done like it was with the Etihad. At the end of the day, the guy was in charge of the Etihad was in charge of redesigning the London Stadium as well. So which we talked about previously. But you know, again, this bit is a bit of mudslinging, saying basically what we've all been saying for a good year or so, that the LLDC, E20, whichever little entities you want to describe it as, and the club aren't seeing eye to eye, aren't openly talking to each other. We know that. Now, of course, there is no vision plan released. As I say, I'm guessing more for legal reasons, and as negotiations still ongoing. They are hoping to be able to make significant improvements to the configuration, catering, hospitality, and transition from station to stadium. Now, that to me, as I've literally just said, it screams to me that they'll improve the seating arrangements, probably get us to very, very close to. There is potential to be, if you think about it, readjusting everything in the lowest, especially in the lower tiers. We could potentially have a bigger capacity stadium than Old Trafford. We genuinely could, you know, because the plan is, because the maximum capacity was 68,000 capacity stadium. You rejig the seating, you're getting 73,000 and more. So, but one thing I love about it is to improve the transition between the station and the stadium. Now, when the move happened, I did say to my uncle and a few other friends, I can genuinely see a match day only route straight from the stadium down to the station, and obviously back and forth as well. So if this because it is technically it is possible, you can have a match day only route. I don't know the full ins and outs of how they would be able to do that, but there is, you know, because the LLDC will have to agree to a lot in order for that to happen. You know, for example, an underground walkway. It's going to take years to develop, but that's about the only thing I can think of. So again, I think this is a bit of PR saying, let us buy the club. If West Ham let us buy the club, we will make it quicker and easier for you to travel to the stadium from the station. I'll believe that when I see it. Intended to stay loyal to the core values of the club. So again, they intend. Intentions all well and good. If they say we will stay loyal to the core values of the club, that's where I would be a little bit more enthusiastic about it. And also, it's confirmed that Rio Ferdinand is part of the consortium. And obviously, Rio's statement goes on to talk about how the club is always been important to him. Well, it hasn't been when he's been talking about the game. It hasn't been since he became a pundit. You know, obviously it's a bit of PR, as I'm saying, about, you know, because he's obviously acknowledging the fact that he's an academy graduate, etc., etc. when he says about Rio, where Rio says about me and Anton, I really, really love the club. I can believe more Anton's side of things than Rio, because Rio's not. He's been very heavily Man United based, but he's always kept his feet on the ground to a degree about his West Ham roots. But Anton's a lot more grounded than Rio is. Is Rio going to come out and say to us, well, if you don't like what's happening, buy the club, like he did with Man United a little while ago? You know, little things like that. We will never forget as a fan base, not just as a West Ham fan base, but a football fan base in general. We don't forget what people say. We really, really don't, and we shouldn't be treated like we do forget. You know, and this is my issue with it. But having said that, as I say, this statement is more positive than the previous one. This isn't going to please everybody, as I said earlier. You know, there's still a lot of questions that are going to be asked, and we're not going to see that without further statements from them, without the vision of the club, without knowing where their funding's coming from, etc., etc. Right? Which has been a big bugbear of a lot of people, and quite rightly so. But as I said, we won't hear that for weeks, if not months, maybe a year, maybe 2. You know, maybe 18 months time, maybe 19 months time, when it comes up to roughly around the time that the two Davids can sell the club, and without not paying any money to the LLDC, because they've kept their legitimate, what was it going to be now, 9 year lease, you know, without selling the club. You know, we all know that. We've had that conversation before. But as I said, this is more positive than previously, but there's a lot more that you and I want to hear from these guys. So as always, let me know your thoughts on this. As I said, I'll be keeping a very, very close eye on this. I'll update you guys as often and as quickly as I can. I mean, obviously, when stuff breaks through the working day, it makes it a little bit difficult for me to make content, because I'm working, you know. Quite frankly, but thank you very, very much for watching. Apologies for me waffling on just a little bit longer than I usually do, but thank you very much for watching. Put your comments in the comment section below, of course. Follow the channel on Twitter, Facebook, the usual stuff. If you want to become a Patreon, thank you very much, Rick, to signing up once again to becoming a Patreon. We've got now got a starting 11 Patreon in Rick, and keeping our squad player Wally. Thank you very much, guys. Your support means a lot. So if you want to become a Patreon, links in the description, card at the end of the video. And yeah, I will see you very, very soon. As I say, if there's nothing else pops up, the next video that will be live will be available to watch 24 hours in advance on Patreon. Will be the preview for Newcastle away. I can't believe we were just over a week away now. It's unbelievable how quickly that's come. Just under a week and a half, I should say. So it's come really, really quickly. Looking forward to seeing you guys for the watch along as always. And yeah, I will see you very, very soon. And let me know your thoughts on this. All the best now. Take care.